Hello and welcome back. In this video we'll be looking at how to calculate loan payments. So when you take out a loan, it's important to remember that if you take out a loan, you'll have to pay it back later. If you take out a loan for $10,000, you'll have to pay back that $10,000 later. However, the amount that you have left to pay back will then earn interest. So if you take out a loan for $10,000 and you don't pay it back for a while, you're going to have to pay back more than $10,000. So the quicker you can pay it back, the less interest you have to pay, so the closer it is to the actual amount that you took out. So again, the longer you take to pay back a loan, the more you have to pay overall. But if you want to pay it back quicker, that means that you have to pay a larger monthly payments. So there's the trade-off. Do you pay more each month to pay off the loan quicker, or do you pay less each month, but you just have to pay back your loan over a longer period of time? There's a formula that we can use. This is what the formula looks like. It's a little bit messy, but we'll go through it. And essentially, what we need to know is how much the initial loan was, our interest rate, and how long we want to pay it back. So this would normally be in years. What we can do is we can use all that information to calculate our monthly payments. You could use this formula to calculate, say, like if we wanted to make payments every 6 months or once a year. But most of the time, it will be in monthly payments, monthly installments. So we're just going to focus on paying it back monthly. So let's go through each of these terms here. So PMT is our payment, our essentially monthly payments. So this is what this formula is going to give us. So what we need to know is P, which is our principal. And by principal, I mean our initial loan. So if we were doing a savings account, our principal would be how much we initially put in our savings account. If we're talking about a loan, our principal is going to be how much we take out, how much our loan is for initially. We also have our APR, which is our annual percentage rate, meaning our interest rate, and that shows up a couple of times. Y is how many years it takes to pay back our loan. So there's Y. And N is how many payments we're going to make a year. Since we're just going to be focusing on monthly payments, N is going to be 12 because there are 12 months in a year. And N shows up in 3 places in our formula. So we've got this formula. It's a little bit big, but you're allowed to use notes on the exam. So please write this down in your notes, and then that way you don't have to memorize this big thing. So let's look at how we use this in an example. This actually has three questions to it. So let's read them. If we borrow $25,000 at 12% APR to be paid back monthly over 20 years. So we've got how much we're taking out in our loan, our interest rate, and how long it's going to take to pay back our loan. Then they ask, what are our monthly payments? So that's going to be question 1. How much are we going to have to pay each month to pay back this loan over 20 years? But the second question is, how much did we actually pay? Because if we're only paying it back every month a little bit by a little bit, how much we have left to pay is going to earn some interest. So we're going to see that we actually pay a lot more than $25,000. And then the third question is, well, if we total up how much we actually paid, what percentage of what we paid was for the initial $25,000? And what percent of what we paid was actually just for the interest that we accrued by paying it back over 20 years? So let's do these. The first one, what are our monthly payments? Well, we have a formula for our monthly payments. So our payment is going to be P times the APR over N all of this divided by 1 minus 1 plus the APR over n, and that raised to the minus n times y. And I like to put all of this in parentheses on the bottom just to make sure that I know that all of this belongs on the bottom of a fraction. So we need to know our principal, our APR, n, and y, which we have all that information up here. So our initial loan was for $25,000. Our interest rate was 12%, but we need to write this as a number. So percent means per 100, as in divided by 100. So 12% becomes 0.12. And y, our number of years, well, we're going to pay this back over 20 years. And n, just like normal, is going to be 12. We have 12, we're going to make 12 payments a year. So let's plug all of this into our calculator, which I'll just use decimals for. So we'll start with the top of the fraction. So I'll use my fraction button. So we took out $25,000, and it's going to be, we've got another fraction right here. This is going to be 12%, so 0.12, divided by 12, which is how many payments we're going to make a year. On the bottom, I have my outside set of parentheses and my inside set of parentheses. So I'm just going to put all my parentheses in first. So we have two sets of parentheses, and it'll be 1 minus what comes in the next set of parentheses. And here we have 1 plus, and then we have another fraction, which was 0.12, or 12% divided by 12. And then out here, we have to take what's inside of these parentheses, and we got to raise it to the negative n times y. So again, I'll put my cursor right behind that second set of parentheses. A to the b, we're going to use this power. And again, what I'll do is I'll show you what goes wrong if we don't use parentheses here. So if I use minus n, which is 12, times y, which is 20 years, we see that the 20 comes down out of the exponent. So this is not quite correct. So what we do is up here, I'm just going to put a little set of parentheses and go minus 12 times 20. So again, the parentheses keep everything up inside of the exponent rather than letting it fall down. So we have 25,000 times 12% over 12 divided by 1 minus 1 plus 12% divided by 12 raised to the negative 12 times 20. And here we have our monthly payments. So let's round to the nearest cent. So we're going to pay back $275.27. $275.27. Cool. So this is how much our monthly payments are going to be. $275. So the question is, how much did we actually pay? So once we pay back our loan, how much did we actually pay? Well, let's think about this. We pay $275.27 each month. That's how much we pay each month. Well, there are 12 months in a year, and we're paying this back for 20 years. So we're going to be making a lot of payments here. So this is going to be $275.27. We're doing this 12 times a year, and we're doing this for 20 years. So let's come back to Desmos. I'll hit enter so we see another line. So we have $275.27, and we are paying this back 12 times a year for 20 years. So we are actually going to be paying $66,064.80. That's how much we pay. So our initial loan was for $25,000. So we needed $25,000 to do something. So we took out a loan for that much. And guess what? After 20 years, we have paid, let's say the bank, $66,000 for that initial $25,000 that we needed all at once. So this is what happens when we take 20 years to pay back something. The amount that we have to pay back builds up over time. And the last part is just to see what percentages, what percent of what we actually paid, so the $66,000, what percent was for the principal and what percent was for the interest. Well, out of this $66,000, only $25,000 was the initial loan, right? So that first percentage, $25,000 out of that $66,000 is for the initial loan, and then I want to write this as a percent. So let's come back to Desmos. We'll hit enter, and we have $25,000 divided by the $66,064.80. And if I round this to the nearest percent, if I round this to the nearest percent, this is going to be 0.38. So this is going to be 0.38, which is the same thing as 38%. So after we pay back $66,000, only 38% of that was for my initial 25 grand loan. Only 38% of it, which means, so this is for the principal. So the rest of that 100%, so if I take 100% minus 38%, I will get 62%. 62% of what I paid was only on interest. Oops. I can't spell today, which is maybe every day. But so out of the $66,000 we paid, only 38% of it was for our initial principal. 62% was just paying for the interest on our loan. And I'll go through one more example in another video.